Hi everyone, we're going to take a few minutes to go over some things on the Essay 1 assignment prompt. So you should have read this over once on your own before we're looking at it today, but I want to draw your attention to some things that are especially important. First of all, you should always pay attention to things like the title of the assignment and what kind of assignment it is. Here we've got what it means as the title of this assignment, and that's pretty significant. And then it's a persuasive definition and analysis paper. So you know you're going to be persuading, defining, and analyzing throughout this. Keep that in mind, it's really important. Now in this first chunk here, you see I'm doing some discussion of what the assignment's going to be about. Every single assignment prompt will have a chunk like this. Every single assignment prompt will also have an especially important part of that chunk of prose. And we call that part the essential question or the primary question. What that is it's basically 1 to 2 sentences that should tell you what your thesis statement will look like. Every single prompt will have some sort of essential question. Sometimes it's actually going to be a statement, right? But even if it doesn't have a question mark at the end, it's still telling you what your thesis statement should look like. And it gives you clues about what the subject of your paper will be, the thing you're writing about, and what your claim will be. So I want you all to look carefully through this section and figure out which sentence or sentences tell you what the subject of your paper will be and what the claim of your paper will be. Very important. Now down here under the requirements, there are some important things I want you to note. So we do have some drafts, right? We're going to have 2 drafts for each of the assignments. So every paper we work on in this class is going to be 4 weeks long. And you'll have 2 drafts and then a final. Those rough drafts need to be a minimum of 2 full pages in MLA format. And when I say full, I mean full to the very bottom, right? If they don't meet that requirement, they're not considered complete, and so you won't receive credit. And the reason for this is that if you turn in just a paragraph or like a half a page, it doesn't really give me or the tutor any idea of, what you're struggling with or what kinds of things I need to adjust in my lessons. So you have to have something written in order to be able to make changes to it. Very important. Your final essay needs to be at least 3 full pages. Now you see at least here. What grade do you usually get when you do the bare minimum? Usually a C, right? Many papers that do better than C are longer than 3 full pages. They sometimes go into the 4-page range. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is not a research paper. Please don't do any research. If you're having trouble with that, please send me a message. We can talk. We're going to talk about some concepts in the coming weeks that you'll need to include in here. And of course, MLA format matters. So if you don't know how to do it, use the links on Canvas to learn more. I also want to talk a little bit about kind of the purpose of drafts and then some of the deductions here. So you'll see here under deductions it says that you have to submit complete drafts and outlines on time, otherwise I take away 10% of the points possible from the final score. Let's talk about the reason I do this. Okay. In this class, it's really important that you have the opportunity to make mistakes. Those mistakes are actually really important because they tell me, they tell your tutors, they teach us what you are struggling with. And if we don't know that, we can't help you get better. But of course, nobody wants to make mistakes because you don't want to get a bad grade, right? Well, I do not grade outlines and rough drafts. I take them for credit, no credit, but they are not graded for quality. If you've completed the draft and it is on this assignment prompt, then you will get full credit, okay? But if you don't turn it in, then I take away points from the final draft, okay? And again, I do this so that we can use examples in class, and you might expect that your paper may come up anonymously as an example, so always be willing to write about things that you don't mind being shared anonymously. And again, sometimes the tutor will be able to give some feedback as well. But it's really important that you don't have somebody else proofread your work. I mean, that's considered academic dishonesty in this class and at this level, because again, it doesn't show me what your problems are. If you have problems with, comma splices or topic sentences, and you get too much help with that in the drafting stage, or if you have somebody else do it for you, besides it being plagiarism and being a really big deal in terms of the consequences, it also doesn't help me teach you how to do better, right? So if you move on to English 101 or 102, you still won't know how to, fix those issues on your own. So get drafts in, do the best you can, and then we'll help you make them better before the final draft. And the final draft is graded on quality, right? So you'll have to make sure you get that help along the way and you make adjustments. You'll also have a Writing Center visit, which I'll put up on Canvas when the time comes. The grammar deductions are important, okay? So we've already, you'll receive feedback shortly if you haven't already on some of your early writing assignments to let you know if you are having trouble with grammar and if I think you need additional help. If I didn't comment that you are having major grammar problems in some of your early discussion board posts, then you probably don't have to worry about this too much. I mean, just proofread, right? If I make some comments that you may need to take additional classes or that you may not be prepared for English 100, this is something that could really affect you. So please take my feedback into consideration, get the extra help you need. And then of course down here, this gives you a sense of how I'm going to be grading. So read that carefully. All right. If you have any questions about the assignment prompt, let me know. Otherwise, you guys can get onto the discussion board and talk about it.